Good evening, everyone. How the hell are we all doing? I am Chris, joined once again with JXEditor. I was flying solo last week. Thankfully, it was a mercifully short episode. There wasn't really much to talk about. I've got you back on for this one, and I think this is also probably going to be a really short episode. We were both discussing before we went live. My notes are but few, and it's pretty much just plot stuff. I don't really have many asides on this one. I don't know about you.
No, I got some notes.
Well, I mean, there was a big cameo in this, which obviously we'll get to later on in the episode. If you couldn't tell, it was already in the thumbnail of the video. I am blessing your eyes with this joyous thing. I'm not pointing at you, by the way, mate. This Pizza the Hut Creep Show 2 motherfucker that we've got going on here. What's his name? Fucking Gorian Shard, which might be the worst alien design in all of Star Wars. And there have been some fucking doozies. But if he's not in the conversation, then I don't know what is. Anyway, before we dive into the episode, well, of course, we are talking about The Mandalorian Season 3. We're up to Episode 5 now, The Pirate. I'm guessing meaning this guy right here. Anyway, before we get into the episode proper, hand it over to you. How are you doing? More importantly, you were a bit under the weather last week, but thankfully you're back on your feet now.
Yeah, I'm feeling much better. I unironically sounded like that.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll do socials and stuff. Like, where can they find you? What you got going on besides, like fighting back death apparently from last week?
Hello, I am JXEditor. I am the one who JX the edits.
I'll be honest. Can you change that tagline every week? Like, hello, I am JXEditor. I am he that JX the edits. Like,
something like that. If you've been watching these, then you know
no one's been watching these.
Exactly, and no one's gonna watch this one. So why am I doing?
We got one person so far. I don't know. Maybe that could be you. That's
me. No, it's not.
Well, hi, whoever's tuning in. I hope you're doing good. Socials are going across the bottom there. Head over there, give him a subscribe. He's got stuff going on, especially Star Wars related stuff. I won't talk. Did we talk about the 12 movie thing? Is that something?
I haven't explicitly talked about it.
Okay,
I like leaving it at just what you said.
I'm gonna hold off on that for now. Anyway, my Twitter's going across the bottom there at Hobbit Fan Editor. I occasionally post on there, although not much because I'm running out of space on my phone and I don't have space to download Twitter, unfortunately. But you can find me on my YouTube community, so head over there, subscribe, discussions, live streams, all of this stuff. We're going to be streaming Mandalorian reviews for the next 3 weeks, I think. So just shy of a month. There's more Mando content. Mando! Every single Wednesday at 10 p.m. GMT, which is what we're all here for tonight. So, Episode 5, The Pirate. Before we dive into it bit by bit, because we go through like every single thing that happened in the episode near enough, overall opinions on this week's episode. Over to you first.
I enjoyed it. It was a very fun serial with some story attached to it.
Well, some story is better than no story, I suppose. Unfortunately, the story only really came into it in like the final 5 minutes, as is customary with most Mandalorian episodes. I really didn't care for this episode. I made a note about halfway through, kind of, when all of this was going down, that season 3 really needs some kind of overarching villain. It needs some sense of urgency, because if this motherfucker is the best that you've got 5 episodes into season 3, you're doing something wrong. I didn't give a fuck about any of these pirate guys. I thought they were easily the weakest thing in episode 1. And I thought we were done, pretty much. I thought we were more or less done with that shit. Apparently not.
Him in the eye.
Because they devoted a whole episode to them again, and there's just no sense of tension.
Wait, you thought we were done?
Can you take this guy seriously? I mean, look at this motherfucker.
Well, actually, this is my first note. I'm really not sure why the Jabba puppet works, but Shard doesn't. I think it's the speed at which he talks.
It's just the design. Look at him. He looks like a motherfucking chia pet. What is that?
I can't. I'm in the way.
I just think it's a really terrible design, and
it looks like a design that would look really good in a comic.
Well, it's called Swamp Thing, DC Comics.
Right, I know. No, I know, but I'm also talking about like the Star Wars comics.
If you say so. But the last 5 minutes, I guess, it gives us some grounds to like look ahead towards the end of the season. But yeah, I'm really struggling with season 3, dude. I'm really struggling with it. I'm hoping now. I guess season 1 was kind of like this a little bit as well. How, granted, it was still very new with season 1, and we were getting used to these characters in this world, and it felt a bit. The episodic stuff kind of worked a little bit for season 1, but I remember being frustrated with like episode 4 and 5 of season 1, and then when we got into like the final couple of episodes, then it really felt like a 2-parter ending where actual plot stuff was happening, and I was like, it's a shame about all those middle episodes which you could kind of remove and not really much would change. I'm guessing this is going to follow suit. I think that season 2 overall, whilst bringing a lot of stuff in from the outside canon, like Ahsoka and Luke Scott, all of that stuff, which some may argue may have diluted season 2 down a little bit. I do think that season 2 was much more cohesive in terms of an actual driving narrative, more or less from beginning to end. Maybe not episode 1 where they're fighting the Crate Dragon. I know there are elements of that did come back into it, but pretty much from then on, there was a concrete narrative. This one, I'm like, where is the plot going? Why is Grogu still a thing in this show? He does fuck all. He's just there. And even kind of Mando as well, I feel, has taken a massive backseat this season compared to other ones, with a much greater focus on Bo-Katan, which we'll get into later. Anyway, my notes kick off with the pirates attack Navarro, and Gorian Shard still looks like hot garbage. That is my first note that I have written down. Carl Weathers, this must have been like the easiest payday for him, like the easiest gig he's ever had. So far, he's just been in that one set pretty much. Yeah, he's rocking the dad bod. Aged Carl Weathers running the town, and then the pirate guy says, there will be no terms, there will be no surrender. And with his flapping mouth like Admiral Akbar. And there we go. That's our sense of urgency. That's our villain for this episode. This mossy motherfucker. Do you have anything to say about what going? I already said it. And
my only note on it was I don't know why he doesn't work, but he doesn't.
What do you think to his ship? Actually, I think we may have mentioned that episode slightly. It kind of reminds me of a Hammerhead Corvette kind of shape.
It also reminds me of the Eclipse.
Yeah, I think that's the one you mentioned. Explain to people like me the Eclipse.
It was Palpatine's Super Star Destroyer. It was shaped like that with the sight.
Oh, okay.
Wait,
was this in
Dark Empire?
Yeah, I know the one you're talking about. Yeah,
and
there's a line where the
Star Destroyer called the Eclipse is in Aftermath, but it's probably not that big or shaped.
Yeah, it's a different thing. Yeah, probably.
It's probably just a Super Star Destroyer.
Mm-hmm. When they're discussing terms or the lack thereof between Carl Weathers' character and this guy, this grassy asshole, there's an exchange which I feel like there is it's definitely a wink nudge to A New Hope, where they constantly keep saying he shot first, they shot first, and I was like, are they doing a Han thing right there? Are they trying to do a Han shot first, Greedo shot
I don't
first
think so.
type thing? I mean, I never know when Filoni's behind the actually, no, it was Favreau, I think, who wrote this one, wasn't it? I think Favreau has written the majority of these ones this season.
Let me put it like this. I didn't think that was a reference to that. And when Mando said, I like those odds, I thought that was that might be a reference to Never Tell Me the Odds.
Yeah, almost certainly. Yeah. Anyway, Gorian Shard says that, well, he starts firebombing the city, basically, from cannons from the ship. And in desperation, Carl Weathers calls upon the New Republic for aid. Contacts the Asian guy who's the X-Wing fighter, who then goes to his boss and says, like, hey, Navarro needs our help. Navarro and all of its 30 to 40 inhabitants, apparently, which is a note I have towards the end of the episode.
Yeah, really. Well, we see the Babu Fricks are still there, so it's very possible most of the population is just still there.
Right. Okay, sure. We'll come back to that. Because that was a big thing, and I think I probably
except then when everybody is like crowded and celebrating, there aren't.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Anyway, Carl Weathers asks him Freyd on the little Darth Vader miniature hologram thing, which I always love that thing. The little sort of desktop hologram that comes up. He asks his boss, and his boss is like, "Absolutely fucking not. I got a lot of paperwork here, dude. Like, I got things I need to do." And then
who's that actor? I've seen him in so many things.
Yeah, I recognized him in something. I can't remember now. And anyway, that villainous Imperial lady, who's built like a brick shit house from the Coruscant episode with the scientist. She was there and being shady and very transparently evil, but apparently she's good now. And they don't get the A that they want. And then the next time we see them, oh wait, no, I'm skipping ahead before that point. When he calls him up, the X-Wing pilot is in a bar, and we get I don't even know if it's a big cameo. I don't even know if it's worth a talking point. It got a reaction out of me, but I haven't watched loads of Rebels, but I recognize the voice, and then it was so obviously, I won't say obviously CGI, but it was like they've made a big focus on this character right now. So I'm guessing this is who I think it is from Rebels. But you know more about Zeb, so yeah, if you want to talk about what you thought of that cameo,
I'll tell you exactly what I thought. Hey, look, Zeb.
Do you remember it?
If he's not in the rest of this, he'll be in Ahsoka.
Yeah, that's exactly what I got.
These shows have a tendency of like reuse assets, which you know isn't a bad thing. You know, like in Book of Boba Fett, you have this all CGI. Like you've got these 3 live action actors in front of a CGI hall fighting CGI storm clone troopers.
Mm-hmm.
But then in Mandalorian, we have an actual set with the Jedi fighting, and the reason is that's the set from Obi-Wan.
Yeah,
because they had it, so why wouldn't they use it?
Yeah, absolutely. That's one of the notes that I've got, is that it's going to be an Ahsoka tie-in. I can almost guarantee. Yeah. I feel like the Ahsoka series is going to be your live action continuation of Rebels, pretty much, with all that. I think they've already confirmed, actually, haven't they? Another one of the characters, is it Sabine or is it Hera that's been confirmed, I think, for Ahsoka? Mary Elizabeth Winstead, I think, has been cast, hasn't she?
I don't know anything about the cast. Wife. If it were to be anyone, it would have to be Sabine, because she was like really. She and Ahsoka were with each other in the last scene of Rebels.
Yeah,
and it takes place at this time.
Yeah, I can almost guarantee that Seb's going to be in there. I must admit, you talked about the assets there. I thought the assets looked terrible. I couldn't tell. Yeah, I couldn't tell if it was a blend of live action.
I think it's a blend.
Like Unkar Plutt kind of thing, how it's kind of like
and
a halfway
Grogu.
In between. Yeah. I mean, hang on. I'm going to bring the thumbnail up real quick. We might be able to get like a better. I got the sense that maybe some of like the forearm, like a little bit of that fur, might have been real, but actually looking at it again there, it kind of looks all CGI. Now I'm looking at it again. I couldn't really tell. I think in terms of animation to live action, well, it's still animation to animation, but you know what I mean. I definitely think it's a lot better than some of the ones we've had before, namely the Grand Inquisitor, to name another character from Rebels. But yeah,
I talked to that guy about that effect, by the way.
Oh yeah, you get an answer.
He likes where my head's at.
Mm-hmm. Is it like a cone shaped head, or is it going to be a rounded head?
Narrow.
Somewhere in between. That's fine. I'll allow that. Anyway, yeah. So Seb was in Rebels and was in this for a couple of seconds, walking cameo. I don't know if I like that. I know that, some Star Wars fans might get a kick out of it, going like, oh my God, I remember that character. But because they focus on him so much in that scene, it's just kind of weird. And he looks so drastically different from anything that we've seen in Star Wars as well. I think part of it that was jarring was that for the most part in Mandalorian, apart from like your dinosaur turtles, which I still can't believe it's called dinosaur turtles. And yeah, and well, this guy, a lot of it is practical. So I think when he showed up at the bar, I was like, whoa, what the fuck is this guy? Like this Thanos looking motherfucker shows up. Maybe that caught me off guard. But then again, I don't know if it's something they could really do. I don't know if he would work in live act and, you know, like in a costume, in a suit with animatronic face. It'd look a bit Dark Crystal or Labyrinth, maybe a bit like Ludo. I don't know. Anyway, I'm getting off on a tangent. But that was probably the biggest thing this episode, in all honesty.
On the note of their assets, of them using assets between shows, really glad that Coruscant just wasn't a passing thing.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I mean, I think we'll probably go back there. I definitely think we'll get more there before the series is out. At least I hope we do. And then the X-wing pilot flies to the Mandos. Did it explain how he knew where the Mandos were?
Yeah.
I missed that part. Yeah.
So he says, one of your someone in your what's it called? What's the
Coven or something? Was it?
I don't think it's Coven.
Coven's like witches, isn't it? Yeah,
exactly. Somebody in your covert.
Yeah, that's it.
Someone in your covert used to serve with me in the rebellion. Now, when I heard this, since Zeb was in the episode, I was thinking it was going to be Sabine, and I'm really glad that it was R5.
Yeah. Oh, that was it. Yeah, it was R5. That was it. Yeah, you got it. Yeah.
And I like that R5's rebel history wasn't just a niche EU reference.
Yeah. So the Mandos all agree to fight the pirates, and off they go to save the day. That's where I had my note. This series lacks any kind of overarching threat or urgency. I don't care about these pirates. We'll talk about the overarching threat towards the end of the episode because I don't know. I kind of wish we'd have had more of him, Moff Gideon, this series, but it looks like we're only going to get him in like the last couple of episodes, or maybe setting up Admiral Thrawn for Ahsoka, probably. Yeah, so pew pew, shooty shoot, fight, all of that good stuff.
He's above you. He's below you.
We have a comment. Carl says, does feel like the Rebels cameos are leading to finding Ezra and Thrawn. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is Filoni, Favreau. They're in deep with that shit. And I feel like they'll probably want to squeeze as many series out of Ahsoka as possible because she is a really popular character. So I don't feel like Ahsoka is going to be a one and done series. I think they're going to want it to be another long running series. But I feel like however many series that goes on for, that is going to be like your culmination, your conclusion to the whole Clone Wars into Rebels with Ahsoka stuff, I want to say. Which means I'm going to have to do a crash course on Rebels because I haven't watched it. And I'm going to be really out of the loop if I go into that series, I can almost damn well guarantee.
If you get through season 1, you're fine.
Yeah. Oh, that's the one with the fucking helicopter lightsabers, though, isn't it?
I mean, they're all that's just a staple of the series.
I'm out. I'm done. Everyone says Filoni's the greatest fucking thing to ever happen to Star Wars. Yeah, nah. Because why? Any self-respecting Star Wars fan would not put in helicopter lightsabers. It's not a propeller.
Jesus
it's a fucking
Christ.
Beam of light.
What an elitist thing to say.
It's not a fucking propeller. It's a fucking beam of light. How does that work? That's
still a really elitist thing to say.
Great. Guess what? I didn't write fucking... Even in, like, the myriad of really shitty Star Wars fan fictions that I wrote as a kid, I never fucking put helicopter lightsabers in there.
Okay. Can I ask you a question?
Carl says, Rebels is great. Watch Clone Wars as well. I did start watching Clone Wars. I think I got to season... Oh, hang on. I think I got to, like, season 5. The last episode I watched was some kind of big throwdown, I think, with Savage Press and Darth Maul, I think. I don't know. It was either like the tail end of 3 where I dropped off, or the tail end of 4. But I'm pretty sure I watched season 4. And I haven't watched Rebels purely because I never finished Clone Wars, and I didn't want to leave Clone Wars half finished. That being said, I did watch the season finale of Clone Wars because I was curious how it finished. So I have seen the very end of it, but there's just like season 5, season 6, I kind of haven't caught up with.
Those are the best the best seasons.
Yeah,
actually, not true. Season 3 is also season 3 might be the best season, actually.
That was the Night Sisters and Maul coming back, I think, wasn't it? Season 3
and Mortis.
Yeah. Okay, so shooty shoot, fly, pew pew pew. The pirates are all dead. And then this is where I've got this is gone, yeah.
Do you think when the armorer hits people with her hammer, they re-experience traumatic moments in their history?
Oh, that would be great. I love that she goes into battle with that as well. You know, in an age where they've quite easily got access to blasters and plasma rifles and stuff, she's like, no, I'm just going to beat people with a fucking wrench.
A barbaric weapon from a more civilized age.
That was dumb. That was dumb. Anyway, something like that. So they win. All the 30 to 40 inhabitants of Navarro come out and congratulate the Mandos. That was really weird. I was like, I could have done with like a CGI crowd shot a little bit.
Also,
because the way that they talk, like Navarro's not just a town; it's a city.
Yeah.
Oh,
and also not just human cities. Like there should be aliens in there too.
I'm losing you there. You're talking about the blinking Trandoshan. I was like, oh, I guess blinking aliens does need to be a thing in that edit of A New Hope.
Wait, what is happening?
There's a fucking Bosk. That's a Trandoshan, isn't it?
Hang on, I gotta.
Oh, and he should be coming back in a second. I'm going to carry on anyway. So, hang on, he is already back.
Okay, how about now? Are you hearing me right away?
That's better. Yeah, you're in real time now. That's better. Okay. The Trandoshan. There was a blinking Trandoshan
a while ago.
Yeah, there must have been some major fucking lag, and I just said, so I guess blinking aliens in that A New Hope edit suddenly doesn't look like a bad idea.
Also, the Trandoshan that was on the gun. Wilhelm scream.
Mm-hmm.
When he gets knocked off the.
Yes, The little Ugnaught character on the carrier, was that Warwick Davis? The voice sounded really familiar.
Oh God, I hope.
And
not.
I know that he still cameos in a lot of this shit. I could be wrong, and I mean, I'm going to be the horrible person if I've gone, oh yeah, the one short character in this is clearly Warwick Davis, the only short working actor next to Peter Dinklage. Carl Weathers welcomes the Mandos to the village and says, like, you're now part of the tribe, you're now part of the people. They all seem
just
quite
what I always wanted.
Then the armorer asks Bo-Katan to come back to her chambers privately, and I thought, oh, okay, do they got to keep the helmets on still? Is that a thing? I mean, that they've talked about the eating arrangements, but what about the sleeping arrangements? What was that phrase they used in Andor? Shared a blanket. What do they say? Shared a tent with
sleeping cot.
Do you remember it, like episode 2?
Yeah,
yeah. They said something like that. Star Wars, apparently. Then the armorer asked Bo-Katan to remove her helmet. And I thought, this is a test, Bo. No, keep the helmet on. And she takes the helmet off. And I thought, now she's just going to fuck with her and say, now you must venture back to Mandalore into the pool of sacred tears and bathe yourself because you have removed your helmet. I thought, oh no, we're going to be caught in a never-ending fucking Bermuda Triangle of bathing in the sacred waters. I don't know. I've still got the impression that the armor is on some dodgy shit. I still think the armor is going to be some kind of villain or something. I've got that impression. I don't know why. I've always have since season 1, and I think he's gone again. We've got a very nice buffering symbol going on JX's screen right there. I'll carry on anyway. But I'm going to pass over to you guys watching. Let me know what you think of the armor. Do you think that 3 seasons in now, she is going to be a good guy, or do you think she's going to be a villain? Because I still think that she might turn sides at the end, or be in it for her own purposes. JX says, "This is riveting." Yes, it is. It's wonderful watching a buffering screen, my dude, to try and get your screen back. And then I've got a note here that says the rules about the helmets are bullshit, because the armor has been banging on that you can't remove your helmet, that it is the way that you can't remove the helmet. It's a part of Mandalorian lore. And then Bo just does it at a fucking request. And then apparently this time it's okay to do it. But hey, maybe that's religion. It's full of random loopholes and ways around things. I don't get the fucking helmet thing. For pretty much all of season 3, it's been about absolving your sins and getting back in the creed. Now she's in it. Not a couple of episodes later, she's like, "Oh yeah, you can take the helmet off, and that's fine now." But only Bo-Katan can do it, because she's the most important one. She is the chosen one of the Mandalorian.
Well, yeah, she's the mythosaur.
Yeah. So I guess that allows you to take the helmet off then if you want
to.
Not
so. I think so much. She's saying you can take the helmet off because I need you to get the people who think we're crazy for not taking off our helmets.
But they're still going to keep their helmets on, right?
Of course. Absolutely.
Okay. Got it. What do the people think of Bo-Katan, though? Like the people, like the general public. What's the kind of political... What's the standpoint on old Bo?
Well, first off, this is either Bo's villain origin story or the armorer.
That's what I thought.
Who's going to tell Bo she needs to kill the Mandalorian?
Ooh, I don't know if I go that far. I definitely think she's on that dodgy shit. I definitely think she is. But then I said that with Bo-Katan, and I still, with how season 2 ended, unless they're going to throw us for a loop and we think that Bo-Katan's going to be the villain, it turns out to be the armorer. I still think they're probably setting up Bo, but maybe we could both be right. Maybe the armorer could be the instigator, and then Bo's like the muscle. You know, like the armorer is the brains behind it, in it for her own ends, and then Bo-Katan's like the henchwoman, if you will, to the armorer.
The Vader to her Palpatine,
and then she's gonna throw her fucking blacksmith's mallet or whatever it is, the hammer, and she's just gonna, with the dark saber versus the hammer, which is stronger.
Well, yeah, I mean, that fight already happened.
Yeah. I don't know, man. It just seemed like such a backpedal. It was like for episodes and episodes, she had to go and absolve her sins in the sacred waters, and now she's done it, and now she's just like, "Oh yeah, no, you can take the helmet off. That's fine." It's like, you made her go and bathe in the waters of Mandalore.
No, she made Din go and bathe in the water. She just happened to do it, and then got time to get accepted by the other Mandalorians.
She's like, "Did you remove your helmet?" No. Perfect. You're in. It's like she doesn't need any more evidence than that at that point. A couple of episodes ago. And she's like, "We will retake Mandalore." So I guess Bo-Katan's going to be the envoy traveling between systems, trying to rally people to their cause. Are they looking for hidden Mandos, or are they looking for people just to join?
No, the other Mandalorian, like the ones that she was like, "Hey," he was like, "Where are the other Mandalorians? When I didn't come back with the dark saber, hang on. When I didn't come back with the dark saber, they left."
Uh-huh.
Those guys.
Right, okay. And we know from the Clone Wars that there are like rivaling families and stuff. There are like really bad Mandalorians and stuff out there. I don't know who they could be by this point in the narrative, whether they're characters or part of like a family or a heritage that we've already seen in stuff like the Clone Wars, or if these are going to be brand new characters. I don't know. But the episode does end where we think it's going to end with that, with Bo-Katan going off. As I say, Mando, complete backseat this whole episode. He really doesn't feel like the main character of this series, and I've got a problem with that.
Din Djarin.
But it is called... the Mandalorian's referring to him. We know that since season 1, it's him. And Grogu, like Grogu's done sweet fuck all, which is part of the reason why I'm
Grogu's
like,
also the Mandalorian.
I mean, the most he's done this series is just get fitted for armor, which, to be fair, Luke Skywalker kind of did with him in the Book of Boba Fett episode. He was like choosing between a lightsaber and armor. I still think by this point Grogu could have been off training, and I don't think you would have lost anything in the narrative so far with Grogu, not one iota. Yeah, we learned that he got out of the Jedi Temple,
but he's going to talk.
He's going to talk by the last episode. Yeah, I agree with that. Which actually puts us towards the end of the episode, where we can hypothesize now about the rest of the series.
I have a question.
Oh, go on. Sorry.
No, about this last scene, the flying space probe that detached between R2 and R7. When do you think that was installed? What update?
Between R2 and what?
R7. When do you think the flying space probe was installed?
Shit, I don't even know. What ship was it from?
What? No, because R7 has the camera thing that pops out of the water and the sand.
Oh, with R2 and Dagobah, yeah.
But it like detaches and flies through space. R2 never.
R2
okay, doesn't do that.
Okay.
So you've got R2 to R7. When do you think that was installed?
If George Lucas was directing this shit, then R2 would have been able to do that the whole time.
That's a very good point, actually.
I'm going to say... I mean, R2 was around what? How far back do the R2 units go? Because we know that it takes... Well, Phantom Menace at least, but they're at least top of the range, right? At that point, R2 units top of the range. I'm going to say R6. Probably like... a detachable a little bit up to a certain distance, and then R7 came out. I don't know. R6. Is this a question? Do you know the answer to this, and you're testing me now?
No idea.
Cool.
R6 seems kind of late.
Yeah, I guess so.
Because
none of the others had jetpacks.
No. But it's got to be R6 because R5D4 doesn't have one.
That's what I mean. Yeah. I'd say R6.
All right.
Anyway, so we find this probe, and they say that Moff Gideon has escaped, and he has been set free by other Mandalorians. Now, my question is, do you think the person who set him free, or anyone with Beskar, do you think that this is... here we go. Carl's already pitched the question. The question I was just about to ask. Are we thinking the Beskar found on the ship has been planted to create mistrust with the Mandos? A very Thrawn thing to do. My mind didn't go to Thrawn, although it probably should, because I feel like they're going to want to set him up. They're going to want to set Thrawn up in a big show. Mando's their biggest Star Wars show they've got going on. So if they tease Thrawn at the end of this shit, then they're going to be like, hey, your next show's Ahsoka, and if you want to see more of Thrawn, guess what? Watch that, because he's going to be in that, because they want to tie all of this shit together. It wouldn't surprise me if it's got something to do with Thrawn. I'm still looking at that whole DNA thing from a couple of episodes ago, set on Coruscant, thinking, is that going to filter in somehow to Thrawn, or is that just going to be like the greater canon of like Palpatine and Snoke or whatnot? I'm not sure. I mean, it could be two things. It could be someone... I like that theory, actually, setting up to frame the Mandos, or are there just other Mandos out there that are really evil? Do you think it's a character that we've already seen? Or do you think this will be a brand new character?
Who freed him?
Who freed him? Do you think it'll be a character that we already know within the series? Like, I don't know, fucking Vizsla or the Armorer or some shit? Or
honestly, when I saw that,
or Sabine, there's Carl says.
When I saw the Beskar, they were like, oh my god, he was freed by Mandalorians, and I was just like, guys, where did the Mandalorians get most of their Beskar at this point?
Yeah,
because the Empire,
mm-hmm.
Like the Empire took all the Beskar when they took Mandalore. So
I mean, it's quite a chance meeting. Let's say it was Thrawn. Let's just run with that theory, and Thrawn's planted this thing with Beskar to make it look like it's other Mandos. What
Actually,
are the
this could be very
chances that they would find that escape pod, happen to find that it was Beskar, thus creating mistrust?
Actually, I can answer that. It makes perfect sense. It would be Thrawn if he was behind the pirate attack.
Oh, now I really don't like Thrawn because the pirates were terrible. I don't want those guys working under Thrawn.
If Thrawn organized the pirates to attack Navarro, thus to get the New Republic at Navarro, and then he'd have this be in that guy's path.
I mean, how did he know that they would reach out to the Mandalorians, though?
Because it would be Grief Karga would be more likely to reach out. Well, actually, Grief Karga. I'm just
the Mandos could have said no, and if the Mandos had said no and overruled Din Djarin,
no. Thrawn would know that the Mandos would not say no to that.
Oh,
he studied Mandalorian art.
Thrawn's like Jigsaw. He's like a million steps ahead of everyone.
I think anybody could have guessed that the man. Oh, do you think he's going to go to the Mandalorian because Grief Karga owes this guy? Do you think the Mandalorians will agree to the big fight? Yeah, I do.
I'm just trying to think how that would play out in the show because I feel like, let's say it is Thrawn.
Vizsla actually explained it himself. Why would we fight? Because we're Mandalorians.
I just feel like a lot of it's a leap of logic that's just all very convenient, almost like Thrawn will have read the script.
That's Thrawn for you, dude. That is Thrawn.
Well, no, he was a clear military tactician and was familiar with other aliens' cultures and things like that. And I guess he could predict some events. But there's predicting events and how people...
He would use their art to understand the species' psychological blind spots.
Yeah, there's that. And then there's... Oh, well, Carl Weathers is going to call that X-Wing guy. That X-Wing guy knows R5, and he's going to go there and he's going to say to R5, and they're going to agree to help him, and they're going to come back. And then they're going to be welcomed into Navarro with open arms, thus creating an alliance. And then Bo-Katan's going to be sent out on a mission and find their ship, and she's going to find Beskar in there, thus creating doubt with the other Manda. No. That's fucking ridiculous.
I think you're treating it like somebody saying the Phantom Menace went exactly how Palpatine wanted it to.
Oh, that's some bullshit as well.
No, Palpatine, but here's the thing. It's very possible things did not work out for Palpatine. He just made the best of the situation.
If people actually acted intelligently in the prequels, then Palpatine would have got found out straight away. But because everyone was nerfed, because everyone was like massively nerfed, then either by the Force or by poor writing or by an element of both. That's why.
Midichlorian count. Take a fucking midichlorian count. Get some blood from his stool.
Carl says they did say there is something going on in this episode. Yeah, they mentioned that some big canon thing was going to happen. They mentioned this episode, but if they're referring to that...
Zeb!
Oh, God, yeah, could you imagine? But one thing, though, narratively, if it is Thrawn, is that the only people that are going to act shocked about it are the people that have either read the Timothy Zahn trilogy or know the fucking character from Rebels. Narratively, for the characters within the series, if Thrawn shows up and goes like, "It was me, Austin! It was me all along," everyone's going to be like, "Who?" Like,
yeah,
they don't know who the fuck Thrawn is.
Show up until the Ahsoka series. Like, we won't see Thrawn we might see a shot of him this season. But we
need some kind of big villain. That we need something. There needs to be some kind of hook to this series so far, because 5 episodes in, going into episode 6 next week, I feel like we've been treading water, literally and figuratively, for 6 episodes. Nothing's happened. Mando's gone back to Mandalore and had a bath, and that's been pretty much it. After that, we've had a couple of disconnected events, saving a child from a pterodactyl last week, fighting Moss pirates this episode. Bo's got to keep a helmet on, and then she can take the helmet off. That's it. Grogu's done nothing. We've had no major villain, and then we've had one offshoot episode, which is still probably one of my favorite episodes of the series so far, by the way. The one on Coruscant, which I've actually seen a lot of people really ragging on, saying that was like the worst fucking episode of Mando. And I can see why they might say that, because it did definitely like slam the brakes on to the narrative thrust of that episode, and it completely, took us away from the focus that is usually Mando and co. Aw, doggy.
Aww. That was the first thing I said when I saw Jar Jar Binks. I was 1 when the Phantom Menace came out.
Oh, we've been going on too long. I know. We'll be wrapping up soon. I just feel like nothing's been happening this whole series, and the stuff that has been happening has basically just been putting Bo-Katan at the front and center, and not Mando, which to me is where the focus of the series should be. I've got nothing against Bo-Katan being like an established secondary character, but I feel like they've really dialed up her stuff at the expense of Mando, who should always be at the focus. But Carl says, the fact we've seen the space whales in the first episode and now getting Rebels characters turning up got to be leading somewhere. Yeah, it'll be leading to Ahsoka. Absolutely will.
Yeah, the Ahsoka show.
But we need some kind of big villain. I mean, Moff Gideon, we know that we knew that Gideon would be coming back, but they've kind of pulled this shit.
He's gonna wear a helmet.
Maybe.
No, he's gonna wear a helmet. That's something that the actor said. Because he's obsessed with the Mandalorian. Actually, I don't think he's just said that he's obsessed with Mandalorian like culture. So I think we're gonna see him in some kind of helmet.
I was going to say, if he's in a helmet, is that just because they couldn't afford to get Giancarlo Esposito back, so they just got any old fucking guy in a Mando outfit and just passed him off as the character? Got him to do some voiceover work afterwards. Oh, leave him alone.
Oh, he's fine. He doesn't. Okay, now he's leaving.
Yeah, he's done.
Oh no, he's just changing his. He's just adjusting.
But they've done this with like Moff Gideon all the way through these series so far. In season 1, they bigged him up and then he showed up at the end, which I kind of had a problem with the lack of villain, I suppose, in a way, in Mando series 1. But at least you could argue it was a villain.
You had the client.
I guess.
Are you suggesting that Werner Herzog played an unfulfilling villain?
I'm suggesting he played an incredibly fulfilling character who was killed criminally short, who I would have liked to have got to know more.
I would have, what I wouldn't give for more Herzog in this bitch.
Yeah, me too.
All right, get out of here.
Gideon was cool, I suppose as a build-up it worked for season 1. Season 2, fair, and then we've just had nothing this whole series so far. Gideon coming back will be fine, but I feel like all the other times he showed up, he's just kind of lost like every time. So I don't know how narratively how fulfilling it will be to see him again when he's probably going to get beaten. I feel like it's going to be a new villain, and I feel like, as Carl's mentioned, with all of these tie-ins, there will be some kind of allusion to Thrawn. If we don't come back to the whole Coruscant stuff though, with the blood sample and what the Empire are doing and what their end goal is, I feel like that episode will just be a really random throwaway pointless episode. Because not that saying that I want all of the answers within this one series, because they're going to be cranking this out. But I always thought they said they'd only have 3 Mando series. I swear I read that somewhere. They wanted to kind of end at 3. They're going to keep this going as long as they can. But it will be frustrating if by the end of this series, if we get no kind of callback or any kind of follow through with that stuff on Coruscant, with that narrative, because like, what's the point? And then I think I will be critical of that episode. Then in hindsight, I'll look at that part of that episode in isolation, thinking, well, why bother even putting that in the show anyway? But I don't know. We've still got we got how many episodes? 6, 7, 8. We've got 3 episodes to turn this shit around. And because it's so close to the end, going into the final act, it's got to be narrative, character. Let's get there. But I need Mando to get stuck in, man. I need him to do something, because he's done absolutely nothing this series so far. That's my 2 cents anyway. Where do you think it's all leading to then? Our big villain for the end of series 3 and how we think it's all going to play out at the end.
I think so. I mean, I don't know how I have no idea how it's going to actually play out. If I had to guess on like certain elements, I think we're going to be like in a situation where it's going to be like, he's going to go after the child. And then he doesn't. And he's just like, we've given up on that test. Why does he sound like that?
So the lack of villain maybe at the moment could be shaping up for, as we mentioned, like Bo-Katan or the Armorer or something to be our villain at the end.
Oh yeah. Also, I think when Bo finds the other Mandalorians who wouldn't follow her because she doesn't have the Darksaber, they're not going to follow her because she doesn't have the Darksaber, and that will lead to conflict with Din Djarin.
She'll get it. She'll get it by the end of the series. I can almost damn well guarantee. I think it will probably end. Or
she will die, and Din will lead the Mandalorians.
No. I don't think she's going to die. I think it will end where she asserts herself as the ruler of Mandalore, and then that sets us up for season 4. Then where Mando's on the run from the forces of Bo-Katan or something, and has to try and do something. I don't know. I feel that's probably where it'll end. I think it'll have like a really downer ending.
But she becomes the next Armorer.
Well, I mean, if Din becomes the ruler of Mandalore, then what? Like, what is there to achieve after that? They're going to want to keep the show going.
Oh,
this is the biggest money maker at the moment.
Oh, this is what I'm talking about when the end of the when this would essentially assert him as a side character in other projects, specifically when they're wrapping up that whole Force thing with Mortis that I talked about. That you're like, oh god, that ruins the wonderful prophecy that belongs in these movies.
Yeah, it's the established story, man, from the creator, right there. For better or worse, it's in there.
Worse.
I think the final bold prediction right now that isn't going to happen, but I might be cool with it if it happened. Bold prediction. We cut to a lab, like an Empire lab, and that they were like full of test tubes and Bunsen burners and shit. And they've got like a little test tube that says Grogu's blood, and they pour like a little bit of into it, and it kind of does that shimmery effect like the sacred waters of Mandalore. And then there's like force lightning kind of emanating throughout it. And it's like bubbling up, and it's like, it's alive. And then I don't know whether it'd just be a hand or if you just hear a voice, but then it's like, long have I waited, or good, or something like that. And it's like, holy fuck, like Palpatine's been resurrected.
Did you see the cinematic trailer for Diablo 4?
No. Oh, yes, I did. Yeah, I did.
That.
Yeah. Exactly that. Your edit, the Hellboy
Sans
edit.
pentagram.
Yeah, that's what I want. Because you know what? I'd be like, this is fucking bullshit, but at least it showed us an explanation for how Palpatine came back. And then he's going to be like in full regalia. Just don't ask. Like I mean, his wardrobe changes in episode 9 anyway. He's like this wizened old motherfucker.
Just gets cleaner.
I don't know. He gets the red on his robes. He gets a totally new costume.
He's wearing like muted red, like here before it.
Okay.
So I'm like, I guess it like cleans.
Right.
I guess he uses lightning on all the dirt.
No, I like to think there's like some Sith Eternals that have just got like a wardrobe prepared for him. And he's just like, I've been waiting for this day for so long. Let me change into something more comfortable. But yeah, I just want him to be resurrected, and then like the final line of the series is like, so how about them Snokes? Cut to credits.
So how about them Snokes?
How about them Snokes?
Shirt.
And then the after credit scene, we cut to Imperial prison in the middle of the water from Andor, and Andy Serkis in a jail
in the
cell.
shape of the Empire.
Yeah. And then they're gonna like knock on his door and says like, you have been chosen. That's it. And then that's the end. And that sets us up beautifully then, doesn't it? For the glorious sequel fucking trilogy. Wonderful. Hey,
Chris, I can't do these streams anymore.
It's a crappy explanation, but hey, at least it's an explanation. I've got nothing else to say on this episode. I was really let down by it. These pirate motherfuckers, I don't care. I didn't care about any of the conflict in this. I think the only relevant stuff is in like the last 5 or so minutes, which might set us up for something potentially mildly interesting for the last couple of episodes. But I've been on a real downer with this series so far. I don't know if it's just Star Wars apathy that's creeping in. I'm not sure, but I don't feel like this has had the narrative drive or I don't know, the excitement of the previous series. It's felt by the numbers, this one. It's felt like they're just kind of cast adrift with no sort of concrete idea that's driving the story so far. But hey, that's just me. There's 3 episodes. They could turn it round. We've got like an hour and a half or just over left of this show, maybe. And
yeah, about that.
Maybe close to 2 hours, probably close to 2 hours. So we'll see.
Hopefully.
We'll see.
Question.
When he says like, I need aid, like we need help with these pirates. Had she still been in the show, do you think that would have been Cara Dune? And that would have set up for that spin-off show where she had like this team of like sheriff people, because she was like made the sheriff, wasn't she? So if anyone's going to be dishing out law and order and fighting back, it would be Cara Dune going to find Mando or something, wouldn't it?
I guess it would. It would be a very different episode.
Yeah,
if Cara Dune was still in this.
Yeah, still kind of salty that she's not in it, but anyway, that's a good story for another time. That'll do it for me. I think I've got nothing else to say on this, but I want to say a big thank you to Carl for tuning in. It's always good to have a conversation
Carl.
with you, man. About it's like you're the one devout viewer I have. That's not true. Some other people sign on too, but
hey, I watched the previous one.
You did, and I kept it mercifully short as well. So, but yeah,
I appreciate that. I forgot I put that always a bigger fish thing, and I laughed at my own joke.
There's always a bigger fish. We all thought it. There was a great meme of that actually. It was a screen grab of the moment, and then it was like Qui-Gon smirking underneath from Phantom Menace. It was great. One blast of the socials. So over to you then, good sir. Your channel and what you're working on at the moment.
I'm JXEditor. I JX the edits. So subscribe. Do you?
Cool. Twitter at Hobbit Fan Editor. Occasionally on there, I promise. But if you want to find me more prominently, subscribe to the YouTube channel for more movie reviews, discussions, live streams, everything in between, whatever I really feel like doing, to be honest. It's a very, very freeing environment. What's coming out? I'm trying to think of some. I mean, I recently did my John Wick 4 review, which go and check that out if you haven't seen it already. Movies that are coming out. I know that we've got a new Evil Dead movie coming out in April, which I'll be going to see. I might even do like a review or a stream on the previous Evil Dead films. I don't know whether they'll be like separate streams or if I'll just do like a Evil Dead retrospective in one review. I might do that. But I've got another quiz planned. Currently, I'm probably looking at doing the next quiz in May. That might actually give you a bit of a clue as to what the subject matter will be on for that quiz. I may as well just say it now. It will be a Star Wars. I'll probably just do each film. So it'll be a New Hope quiz, I think. Wait, no, for the Lord of the Rings, I did the trilogy. No, it'll probably be original trilogy. I'll do an original trilogy quiz. Fuck it, I'll do all 3. So, hey, if you want to help me host that
I'm not writing it.
No, you're not writing it. You don't have to write it. You just have to help me host it if you want. No pressure.
We'll talk.
We'll talk. We will. In the meantime,
well, I remember the last Star Wars quiz I was on. I was fucking screwed over.
Oh, we don't talk about that quiz there anymore because it's on a channel that I would choose to forget. Let me know your thoughts on The Mandalorian, this episode, the series so far, where you think it's heading, anything to do with Star Wars. We love having a conversation with you guys, so please do drop me a comment if you haven't done so already. That'll do it for us tonight. We will be back next week at the same time, 10 p.m. GMT. I was going to say British Standard Time. Of course, it's GMT. 10 p.m. Don't be late. We will be live for episode 6 of season 3 of The Mandalorian. Take care, everyone.
Word.